Greetings all, this is the J-Man from Metal SHARXS, and welcome to all. Do we have anybody here in the house yet? If you are in the house, maybe enter something in the chat, please. And let me know if you can hear me okay too, please. I would really appreciate that. I'm going to go ahead and enter something in the chat myself. And let's see. I don't see anybody here yet, but I'll get ready to go in just a minute here. Hopefully we'll get some participants in just a minute or so. We're scheduled from 7:30 to 8:30 Eastern. And this will be a coin roll hunting live stream in just a few minutes. Okay, it looks like Champ Hero is in the house. Welcome, Champ Hero. We're glad you're here. And All Metal Mike, welcome. Glad you're both here. I think that's your first time here, so I really appreciate both of your channels being on here. So if you haven't been on one of our live streams before, I just wanted to give a brief overview, and then we'll get going with opening some nickel rolls here. So basically, we're going to open a few nickel rolls that I got recently from a bank, a box that was picked up at a bank. And I know for sure that one of these rolls, which is one right here, has a piece metal ENDER, or Louisiana Purchase design from 2004, and then a more modern nickel right there. So that's kind of the main event, because I like to find those nickels still in circulation to see if they're in okay shape. But then we don't know what these other rolls might have in them, so it'll be fun to open those. And my dad and my rest of my family also like coin roll hunting, so they've been going through some of the rolls in the box at their house here in North Florida. And so far they've told me they found 3 war nickels and 2 buffalo nickels. So that's really encouraging. Hey, John Chum Adventures is in the house. Welcome. How are you, John Chum? Glad to have you here with us. Hey, John Chum, were you able to get the giveaway prize that we sent for our previous live stream okay? Just maybe drop something in the chat. It should hopefully arrived okay, but I know that your channel's up in Canada, so I just wanted to make sure it went through okay. But welcome. We're glad all 3 of you are here. And one other thing about this live stream tonight is after we open several rolls of nickels and go through some fun facts about nickels, then we're going to also do a little bit of show and tell about some metal detecting finds. And then if we get more than 5 participants on this live stream, then we'll do a giveaway at the end. So stay tuned for the end. And we'll do a live stream for a war nickel from, I think, either 1943 or 1945. I'll have to check my book. But it'll be a San Francisco Mint Mark war nickel. So it looks like John Chum is saying he hasn't gotten it yet, so hopefully it'll get there in a few more days. So I can check a tracking number on it too, hopefully. And so All Metal Mike is asking how I got started in coin roll hunting, and I think it goes back to a brother of mine, a younger brother, and he sometimes metal detects with us on our Metal SHARXS channel, and his name is the Silver Stingray. And I guess a few years ago he had seen kind of the phenomenon that was spreading across YouTube of a lot of coin roll hunting, and how especially with 50-cent pieces or halves, people often could find silver still in circulation. So he kind of got our family interested, and then now I like to do it, and then also my dad and my mom. So it's a good family pastime for sure. But how about you, All Metal Mike, or any others? How did you get into coin roll hunting or different types of treasure hunting? Maybe drop something in the chat about that. So at any rate, if we get more than 5, because that's how many we had on our last live stream, we'll do that giveaway. So without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started opening this first roll and see how it goes. Yeah, John Chum is saying he hopes it arrives tomorrow. That would be his birthday. So that would be really cool. Yeah, I hope it gets there by then. For sure, that would be nice, or pretty soon after. It could make a nice gift for sure. So this one I'm having trouble opening, but I think I can get it now. And let's see what we've got here in this first roll. Hopefully it'll be a good one. And so if you hear a door opening, I have some family coming in from the store, but just don't pay any attention to that. They had to get a few items for school today for my youngest son. So anyways, we're going through our first roll here. And let's see how this looks. I can get this open. So we're getting our first roll open here. And let me see, adjust this a little bit. So let's see how it goes here, and let's get this started. So 2017, no help. And if I pull one away, it's probably because I need to look at it in the handy magnifying glass that I have here to get a year read on it. So basically what we're looking for are older nickels, like from World War II, war nickels that had silver content because the scarcity of nickel. It's my understanding the armed forces were keeping nickel in reserve for different military supplies or equipment. And so we're looking for those, like 42 through 45. Hey, look at that. We've got a Buffalo nickel from, I think that's from 2005. So that's the Westward Ho series. So we're already on the board with a nice nickel find there. And it looks like it's still in pretty good shape. So we're glad about that. Let's put that one right here for now. That's our first one on the board. So All Metal Mike says, I haven't done any coin roll hunting, but I've been watching as a result of watching metal detecting channels like Digging Canuck. Yeah, I really like watching channels like that, and the Digging Canuck is a great channel. And I like it when she hunts, especially for Canadian quarters, but she's also had a few times where she she went through some Canadian dimes that were really interesting, and she's been able to find silver a few times looking through Canadian dimes, and then for a while she hit a dry spell, and then I think she got busy with Pound the Ground and different things, a metal detecting event in Chazy, New York that was just held last weekend. So I think she wasn't able to do some coin roll hunt streams lately, but hopefully she'll be able to have time to do it again soon, because those are really the best. You're right there. So it looks like we now have one more with us. John Long Silver has joined the house. Hey, John Long, glad to have you. By the way, that's my dad, and he has a great channel called John Long Silver Rails. So let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3. So we've got John Chum, we've got John Long Silver, All Metal Mike, and then we've got Champ Hero. So if we get one more, or no, 2 more, then we can do a giveaway at the end. So we need 2 more participants. And even if some of you have to go, that's fine, as long as we get more than 5 by the end of the stream. So, John Long Silver has noted that the $50 boxes have not been productive lately for his efforts, except for not intended for circulated coins. But the best things that he's had lately are going through nickel boxes and looking for those 35% silver war nickels. Okay, so that's good to know. So yeah, if anybody wants to get started in coin roll hunting, a good place to start is with nickels or pennies. Because with the pennies, of course, you can still find wheat pennies sometimes in circulation. And most of you are probably familiar with those. But then you can also find, wheat pennies were minted from 1909 to 1958. But you can also find Life of Abraham Lincoln pennies that were from 2009, I believe. Hey, look at that. Looks like we have another Buffalo nickel from 2005. And sorry about the phone ringing there. Probably a telemarketer, wouldn't you know it. Hey, as a side note about these Buffalo nickels, there is an error type Buffalo nickel that you can get, and it would be one that has what looks like a spear going through it. So let me see. So like if you got a nickel like this, coin roll searching, and you just saw kind of a line, kind of like through that almost looked like a spear, then that could be a rare error type coin, and it could be worth some money on eBay or auctions and the like. So let's see how we're doing here. So let's keep it going here. So this one is 19. This is an older nickel that I just got, 1950. So one thing I wanted to mention, I'm going to put that 1950 up there because I like to keep any nickels from at least 1960 or older, and sometimes I keep early 60s if they're really in nice shape. But I'm going to keep that one since it's a 1950 and it's in pretty good shape. So let's see. So All Metal Mike asks, do the people at the bank ever ask why you're getting all these nickels? And I think for me, they haven't really asked too much, and I mainly go to one bank, and I've got a good relationship there, and I just get a few rolls at a time. But so I think it's been okay for me, and they don't really ask me too much. But I think also I started out getting nickels that I would use for playing cards with neighbors, so that kind of got the conversation going with a bank teller that I go to. But I know my dad and family are able to order entire boxes at banks. So this one is a nice nickel in the first roll already, and it's the oldest nickel we found so far tonight, a 1947. I'm checking the back there to see if there was a mint mark. So there we have that one. And so we've got 2 older coins and then 2 buffaloes so far. So we're doing pretty good here. Getting off to a good start with this first roll. And then Champ Hero says, keep an eye out for the 2009 nickels, a low mintage year. Yeah, that's good to know. I think I had heard that, but I think that's definitely a good thing to do. And also, do you know, Champ Hero, if we should keep an eye out for other coins from that year, or is it mainly the nickels from 2009? I'd be interested in that. I guess because it was part of the recession, maybe they minted less coins that year of different types. So that was a 93, no help. So thanks, John Chum. Appreciate that. He says, great start so far. Yeah, we're really doing good so far. Got 4 nice nickels, 2 older ones and then 2 buffalo ones. And let's see if we can keep it going. But if you happen to notice me passing over a good nickel as I go through these, please let me know. But also, I'm going to go back through these because sometimes it's hard to see the year, or you might miss something as you are focusing on what you're saying or what's going on in the chat. Hey, another 47. We're glad to get that one, another oldie. So we'll take that, and glad about that. And let's see if we can keep it going. Sorry if the camera has trouble focusing sometimes. I'm trying to figure out a way to do this, and I heard that maybe getting a tripod might help, but I'm thinking maybe if I hold it a little further away and not so near the camera, so I'm going to try to do that because it automatically focuses, and it's an iPad, but there might be a way that it won't focus in and out so much, if I could figure that out. So this one is a 1952, so we're going to another older one, so we got 2 from the 40s and I think 2 from the 50s so far in this first roll. So I don't know if any of you have any buddies, but that might be on YouTube, but if they want to get on, if you happen to text them or something, maybe we could do that giveaway toward the end. But hopefully we'll get some more before this is over. Having trouble reading this one. I think it says 75. Nothing too special. So let's see, just a few more in this first roll. Hey, look at that. We got something here, folks. This is a Lewis and Clark commemorative coin from 2004. And it's Oh the Joy, Ocean in View, I believe, is what it says there. And then here's the obverse. So I'm really glad to find that. It looks like it's still in pretty good shape. And so I like to keep those for sure. Those are nice coins. And I was watching some YouTube videos trying to get ready for this live stream about the Westward Ho series that were made. It was the first change in the nickel design since the year 1938. And the Westward Ho series, that one that I just showed you, was one of those. And so we'll tell you a little bit more about it later in this live stream. I have some information from the U.S. Mint. Hey, that looks like another one. It's a little bit more worn looking, I think. But we'll set that over here too. So we're already got 8 nice nickels on the board. And let's see what this one is. 1977, so no help with the 77. Hey, Field Guy 316 is in the house. He says, who dat? Hey, welcome, Field Guy 316. I think this might be your first time on here, so we're really glad you're with us. So by my count, that makes 5. So if we get one more participant, we'll do a giveaway at the end. So that's good news, but we're also just glad you're here with us. We're glad for all of our subscribers or participants. So let's go to the second roll here. And this one has a more recent nickel at that end, and then no telling what that one is. So let's get that bad boy open and see what we got here. Okay, here we go. Roll number 2. Sometimes you can maybe see something by the edge of the coins, like this one here. Can I show you? Get it over there. That one at the end looks a little darker, but I don't know. Sometimes silver nickels get a little discolored, like if they're war nickels, because I think they're only 35% silver. A lot of times if you find a silver Mercury dime or a silver Roosevelt dime metal detecting, and it comes out of the ground, you kind of know right away because it's kind of a lighter color coin or almost whitish, and that really catches your eye when you're metal detecting. And so anyhow, that's a fun feeling when you find silver metal detecting. I've only had that happen maybe 4 times, and it's all been this year. I've only been metal detecting since 2017, but that's a whole nother great hobby. If any of you, I know some of you have done it, like All Metal Mike, but maybe some others, I don't know if you have. But it's a fun hobby, and it doesn't take a lot to get started. This is a 64, and it's kind of, as you can see, got gum or something on it. So I don't think I'm going to keep that one, even though it's fairly old. But you can get a entry-level metal detector, you know, like a bounty hunter or something, for I think around $100. Or you can get a Garrett Ace-type detector. Hey, look at this. We've got a keelboat design, Lewis and Clark. And we're going to tell you more about that in a little bit. I've got that information from the U.S. Mint that I'm promising to share a little bit from. So this is a 2004 nickel, and it looks like in good shape. So we're going to keep that up here. So we've got another nice Lewis and Clark on the board. So 4 older nickels and then 5 Westward Ho series from 2004 to 2005. So let's see if we can keep it going. That was our first one. Nice find of this second roll. So Champ Hero is asking when our next metal detecting trip will be. And that's something I'm pretty excited about. I mean, there might be some little outings that I do in North Florida, just in my own neck of the woods, so to speak. But I believe on the weekend of October 18th through the 21st, I'm going to have a chance to go metal detecting in Pensacola Beach. So I'm really excited about that, and looking forward to it quite a bit. And I think it may be the first collaboration hunt that Metal Sharks is able to do. It looks like maybe another channel from popular channel, which I don't necessarily want to mention their name right now because I didn't think to ask them if it's okay to tell folks that they're going. But there's a channel from Mississippi, you might be able to guess, and I think they're going to be in Pensacola Beach that weekend. And then maybe another channel from Northwest Florida. So it could be as many as 3 different channels collaborating. And while I'm thinking of that, what do you guys think about Pensacola Beach? There's a beach there near a pier that gets a lot of public traffic. So I was thinking about making that the collaboration site. Or there's a a beach that's near the last major condo area before you get to the more remote beaches at Pensacola. I think it's called Portofino Condos. So that's two places that we could go to. Or we could go to the last public beach called West End Beach before the Fort Pickens site, where if you go to the Fort Pickens, it's a historic Civil War site, and it's run by the federal government, so you can't metal detect Fort Pickens. You can only fish there. But just before you get to Fort Pickens, the last public beach before there is pretty good, and it's called West End Beach. So drop some ideas in the chat if you have any preference where you think we should make our next trip. Should we go to the condo beach, Portofino? Should we go to the pier beach at Pensacola? Or should we maybe do the West End Beach, where one time I was able to find this really neat pendant, though it was gold colored, but I think it was costume jewelry. It wasn't actual gold from a test that we did. But that's in one of our videos from a few months ago. So John Chum is asking if we've ever dug with Rob from Florida Thunder. And not yet, but I sure would like to dig with him. So there's a 2014 P. I almost dug with him once, but it didn't quite work out. I think he had an appointment he had to do. But Rob is a lot of fun to watch. He's one of my favorite channels. And he's kind of from the Central Florida area. And he's got a sidekick, so it's kind of neat if you have a channel and you have kind of a sidekick, so to speak. But Rob has Dalton, of course. But those guys really tear it up. I mean, they get a lot of good permissions. And so they're able to get some houses, from the turn of the last century. And get a lot of silver items and wheat pennies and Indian head pennies. So you name it, they find neat stuff on that channel. And they also do their share of coin roll hunting. So that's fun, too. So I really like to give them a good shout out. And so, some pointers from John Long Silver. He said it's important to be honest with the tellers. And what he does is he dumps his coins at his credit union. He orders them from a bank. And the person he orders from likes coin roll hunters. But he has gone to branches at times where they say no. So that's all good to know. Yeah, like the honest approach I think is really good. And a lot of the coins, when I get them, I'm able to just get a few rolls at a time. Or I also able to get some from my dad because he gets whole boxes, so he's kind enough to let me use some of those for these live streams. So I haven't interacted as much myself with the tellers, just to a limited degree, but those are definitely good tips. So my Chan said about 2 weeks ago his bank shut him down for ordering boxes, said they were changing their policy. Hey, by the way, My Chan, we're glad you're in the house. That brings us to 6. So what does that mean, folks? That means we're going to have a giveaway at the end of this live stream. So please stay tuned. 6 is our record for a Metal SHARXS live stream because as you could probably tell, we're kind of new to live streams. Hopefully we're doing okay, but still kind of learning and hoping to upgrade our equipment over time. Like, for example, I'm hoping that we can get a coin microscope one day. That would really help a lot. And then another upgrade we want to do is learn how to use a smartphone as part of this. So then we could have 2 different camera angles and maybe have the phone and possibly the iPad both on tripods. So this one was a 62. So I think I'll set that aside because that's still in pretty good shape and it's an older coin. Yeah, my Chan says, I love smaller coin roll hunt channels. Hey, look, here's another one. Oh, the joy, ocean in view. So that's a Lewis and Clark commemorative coin. So I'm glad to get another one of those. I'll set that aside. So my Chan says he can't stand all the games and constant scrolling chat. Yeah, I guess some channels really do that. Like they get the chat just really going wild. and then they don't focus on the hunt too much. But then Champ Hero says, the lady at my bank always rolls her eyes when he orders coins, but he doesn't let that bother him. So that's a good approach. I mean, it's kind of like this this football coach here in our part of Florida, North Florida. We have Florida State University, and the college football team is, of course, the Florida State Seminoles. And they've had, 3 national championships, so they've had a great history the last 30 years. But this year they haven't been doing too well. Hey, look, this is a 1964, and it's in really nice shape. Look at that, how nice it is on the obverse. So I'm going to set that one aside. So anyways, the coach right now for the Florida State football team is Coach Willie Taggart. It's so when they have practices and things, and he's talking to players, he's trying to inspire them to have a good attitude. So what he usually says, at the end of the day, at the end of the practice, it's like, have a good rest of the day, if you want to. So that just reminds them that they choose their attitude about how they're going to approach the day on a given day. But yeah, when we do interact with bank tellers, hopefully we can use an approach like that and just go in there with a good attitude, and then if they seem maybe sarcastic or questioning or just negative in general, don't let it get us down. And it's kind of similar to asking for permissions. I had waited a long time before I asked for permissions, but actually I haven't been turned down yet. Of course, I've only been metal detecting a few years, like I said, but so far I'm 2 for 2 on asking for permissions. One was a 1949 property, and then another one I think was, trying to remember when that one was, I think it was from the 50s. So hopefully I can keep that streak going. But at any rate, I wonder if that one was approved. He was asking about the 64. Yeah, that one is really nice. I didn't see any mint mark on that one, but it is really nice. So I'm not sure, but that's definitely a keeper there, and probably one that I'll mount on a card. It's very shiny and nice. So anyhow, that's our first 2 rolls, and so as you can see, we've had some good finds over here. Some Lewis and Clark, Westward Ho type nickels, some Buffalo nickels from that Series 2, and then some older nickels. So at this point, I wanted to just share a little bit of information from the U.S. Mint that I had researched, and then we'll go on with some more coin roll searching. So I started getting really interested in these Lewis and Clark and Louisiana Purchase coins, because in our last stream I found one of these, and I think I didn't quite call it by the right name. But then also I've let's see. Trying to find another one here. I also found a piece metal one. I guess I don't have one here, but recently I found a piece metal one, and I called that the Louisiana Purchase, which is a name you could use for that nickel, but it's also more commonly known as the piece metal design. But at any rate, I just wanted to share a little bit of information. And before I do that, John Long Silver said that 64 was not a proof. It has no frosted look or cameo, so that's the key things. So I appreciate that, because I'm still learning. And I think I'm starting to slowly recognize the frosted look, but still got to get a lot more experience with it. But yeah, so keep an eye out for a frosted look or a cameo. So anyhow, in the year 2004, the United States Mint unveiled a new nickel design, and that was the first change in the basic Jefferson nickel design since the year 1938. So for 65 years, the U.S. nickel design was basically the same, but the Mint kind of broke out of their mold, so to speak, in 2004. So the current design was introduced back in 1938. So in 2004, the Mint came out with nickels to honor Thomas Jefferson. And they also wanted to honor the 200th anniversary of the Louisiana Purchase. So the Louisiana Purchase, for those history buffs out there, will know that that was a huge agreement that doubled the size of our country. So that was a really exciting time and a really important part of our history. And then the U.S. men also decided to commemorate the expedition that Lewis and Clark undertook, in which they journeyed more than 8,000 miles from the great state of Virginia to the Pacific Ocean and back to see different lands and the people of the great Northwest. So anyhow, let me show you one of these piece metal nickels. I think I could show you one here. See if this comes out okay. So let's see. So there's a piece metal nickel, the second one from the left on the bottom. So that's the basic design from that one that came out in the spring of 2004. And that commemorates the Louisiana Purchase. So hopefully you can see that okay. And by the way, this is a U.S. nickel archival quality book that you can get at a kind of like a Barnes & Noble or a bookstore. And basically, this is the type that has slots for coins, but they're unlabeled. So I have some older Buffalo nickels and different things in here. But one of the things I have were some of these Westward Ho series. So I wanted to show you that piece metal design. And then another interesting coin from the year 2004 was this keelboat design. So it's the very first one there that I'm showing you there in the bottom corner of this book. And that's the keelboat design. And so that one was depicted the keelboat with full sail that was used to transport across the different waterways as Lewis and Clark made their expedition, and they had to transport people and supplies. And they were looking to go through the Louisiana Territory in search of a Northwest Passage to the Pacific Ocean. And so it shows Captain Meriwether Lewis and William Clark in full uniform in the bow of the boat. So that's another interesting coin that you can find coin roll searching. And I was checking some YouTube videos earlier today, and I saw that if you could find an uncirculated keelboat design or piece metal design that's so basically in really good shape, and send it into a grading company and get it on a slab, sometimes those in the best condition can get several $100s, even $1,000 or more in auctions. So, but it's just fun to find them too, and maybe hold on to them for a while, and then maybe sometime in the future send them in. Who knows? Yeah, Champ Hero said, I seem to find lots of 64s as well. So maybe that's a good year to look for. And then John Long Silver says the 2009 nickels are hard to find, so save them when they show up. So that was a recession year. And then All Metal Mike is saying, Lewis and Clark were land surveyors just like he is. Oh, that's neat. Yeah, that must be a good line of work, because I guess it probably beats a lot of people like what I do, where I fly a desk all day. But being a land surveyor, I imagine you're able to get outdoors a lot. So I imagine that can be enjoyable, though at times the weather can probably be a challenge for you. But that's interesting. I bet that would be a good line of work. And I believe, isn't it true, All Metal Mike, that our President George Washington originally was a surveyor too for a while? So drop something in the chat if you have any comments on that. So My Chan says, I feel like I find more 64 or 65 nickels more than any other one. And I think that pretty much catches us up on the chat. And so that was our first two. So we're doing pretty good here. We've got, looks like at least 5 older nickels, and then 7 of the Westward Ho series. So let's see if we can keep it going. And so let's get another roll here. So let's see how it looks. So this is one end. And here's what we got. We're going to give it a whirl. I always have trouble getting these things started. Hey, I want to show you guys something here. So, there is a penny in this roll. So, that's just kind of interesting. You know, like every once in a while a penny sneaks in a bankroll. And so it's probably nothing special, but we'll take a look at it. But either somebody shortchanged or it just inadvertently got in there. Hopefully this will be a good roll for us. Let's see what we've got here. Okay, so for starters, I think I'll check this penny out if I can find it again. Well, it looks like a common Union Shield penny. So there you have it. Union Shield design penny, 2014. So I'm just going to set that over there as a conversation piece, but I'll probably send that back to the bank. Don't really want those. So let's get this one going, see what we got here. You're down 4 cents, my man. Yeah, that's a good point, my Chan. Gonna lose a little money on that one. But hopefully I'll make it up for it for the fun of searching through the other ones, and then maybe one day I'll get some of those graded and slabbed. Some of those Westward Ho series. Shield penny, John Chum says. So, All Metal Mike says, I've been flying a desk as a land surveyor since I came inside 30 years ago. Yes, Washington, Jefferson, and Lincoln were land surveyors. Huh, that's interesting. That was definitely has been an important line of work over the years. So this one looks a little bit older. Wow. This one is it's a nickel from the war years, but it was the early war years before they started making them out of part silver. This is a 1941. So that's a keeper. Okay. So yeah, sometimes I like finding coins that were from World War II, different coins. So earlier in the war, like that 41 nickel that we found. Hey, here's a keelboat design that we were talking about from 2004. We're glad to get another one of those. And it looks like it's in pretty good shape. So I want to put this one right here because after this roll, I have a little interesting fact about the keelboat design that I want to share with you. So stay tuned for that. But that'll remind me not to forget that. 59. We'll take it at 59. That's pretty old. So we're starting to mount up here on the older finds. Sometimes I can't quite make out the year. Let's see. $72, no help. So, my Chan says nickels and pennies are great for finding older years, but you'll get so sick of 40s and 50s after a while. Yeah, I guess as I do this longer, that'll probably be true. Lose some of the excitement. And it's kind of like that way with metal detecting too, I think. You know, like right now, hey, this is a 59, so I'm going to keep that one. 1959. So I'm going to, with metal detecting, I still get pretty excited anytime I find silver, since so far I've found 4 silver items. But some channels, they find so much silver and mercury dimes or barber dimes or silver quarters, Washington or earlier, and it almost becomes second nature to them. And then hopefully it'll still be exciting, even after I do this for hobby for more years over time. So there's another Lewis and Clark Oh the Joy Ocean View nickel, and it looks like it's in decent shape, so we'll save that one. So we haven't had any war nickels yet. I guess we're about due here, huh? Hey, Ambient Girl has joined us. Ambient Girl Relic Hunter is in the house. Welcome, welcome. Glad you're with us. I think that's her first time on our live stream, so we're really glad you're here. We're going through different nickel rolls, and we found some commemorative nickels from the Westward Ho series of 2004, 2005. So we're glad to have those. And then we found some older 40s and 50s nickels, but nothing silver. But we're glad you're with us. Hope you're doing well. So Ambient Girl says, hi there at John Chum Adventures. 87, no help. 87 Philly. So we're getting near the end of this roll here. Maybe we're going to get silver if we're fortunate. Get a war nickel before we're done. Detecting Smiths is in the house. Hey, welcome, Detecting Smiths. How are you doing? We're glad you're with us. So this was another 64. And it's got a few scrapes on it. So I think I'll just set that back in circulation. So I'm trying to remember, I think Detecting Smiths had a nice video out recently, and I think he did some shout outs to different channels, so that was really cool. They had gotten some great sticker exchanges done. And that reminds me, just while we're talking about stickers, we're about to get our first batch of Metal SHARXS stickers. So we're excited about that. So after we get some of those, we'll start giving those away, and especially on future live streams. But I'm trying a sticker company called Sticker Mule, so I don't know if any of you have experience with that, but hopefully they'll come out pretty well. We should have those, I think, in the next week or two. And they seem to do a good job with the proof, and just email you back and forth. Not too hard to do, and you could use PayPal or you could use other payment methods. So it seemed like a good company from what I could tell to order stickers from. But I don't know if any of you have ideas of good ways to get stickers made for your channel, like good companies, or did you do it yourself? Maybe drop that information in the chat. So let's see. We'll catch up on the chat here a little bit. 1973, no help. So John Long Silver said, my favorite penny is the 1943. It's zinc-coated steel penny, and that's his birth year. When he was a child, the Indian head pennies were already out of circulation. Huh, that's interesting. Yeah, 1943 was a pretty unique year, being right in the middle of World War II. And they had those, basically the steel pennies, like he's saying. Sometimes people call them steelies. And those pennies, when they got exposed to the oxygen and air, they would often rust. So I guess the Mint made that just a one-year deal. And other metals were more precious, so they had to use steel that year and save the other metals for war efforts. But the pennies rusted, so if you find a steely in good shape, I think it can be more valuable. And so it's always fun to find those in circulation. You can still find them sometimes. Well, that's the end of that roll. And so now, if I may, I just wanted to catch up a little bit on the chat and then just share a fun fact or two about the nickel design from the U.S. Mint, just Jefferson nickels in general. But first, let's catch up on the some of the chat here. So, Detecting Smiths has noted that he loves stickers and he's hoping to try and make magnets from the ones he has, but he hasn't heard of Sticker Mule. And then Mai Chan says Indian Head ended in what, 1908? So let me check that. I think I have that here. Yeah, Indian Head pennies were made from 1859 to 1909. So that's a little bit about the Indian Head pennies. But anyhow, here are a couple of quick facts about the nickels from 1938 to the present. And this is from the U.S. Mint, and they made if you go to usmint.gov, they have a web page called Fun Facts related to the nickel. So one interesting fact was, of course, like what we've been talking about, during World War II, from 1942 to 1945, the last 3 years of the war, the nickel was made from an alloy. So the government used copper, manganese, and silver to make the nickel. And as John Long Silver had noted in the chat, it was about 35% silver. So the government was trying to keep nickel set aside for use in the war effort. And one thing I was wondering was, does anyone in the chat know what types of items they would use nickel for in World War II's war effort? I was just wondering, did they use it for munitions, or did they use it for aircraft, or what they might have used it for? I think that would be interesting to know. But anyhow, that's one fun fact about the U.S. war nickels. And then another interesting fact is that the word nickel dates back to the 1750s in the country of Sweden and also Germany. One meaning of the German word for nickel is actually rascal. So in German, the word Kupfernickel could be translated as false copper. So miners in Germany invented this name because nickel ore looks a lot like copper, which is a more valuable or more precious metal. And sometimes the miners thought they had found copper, but they were fooled by that rascally metal, nickel. But at any rate, one last fun fact, and I'll show this coin to you as I do this fact. So this is the Lewis and Clark commemorative nickel that we found tonight, and the keelboat design from the fall of 2004. So, according to the U.S. Mint, this nickel is about an American explorer who designed his own boat. And that explorer was Captain Meriwether Lewis. So Captain Meriwether Lewis drew up the plans for this keelboat that you see depicted here. The 55-foot keelboat was built in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So there's another claim to fame for the Steel City for you. So the keelboat that he used was built there in Pittsburgh. And something that's really neat that I found out about this keelboat that Lewis and Clark used. This keelboat actually had 4 different ways that it could be propelled or moved forward or backwards. You could row it, you could pull it like a raft, or you could tow it from the riverbank. So that's 3 ways. And then, of course, the 4th way is using the sail. So you could sail it, row it, tow it, or pole it. So that seems pretty versatile, huh? So that's a really neat nickel, and I'm glad to have that tonight. So anyhow, let's see how we're doing on time here. So we're getting close to the end of our live stream. Just have maybe another 10 minutes that are scheduled. And so we want to get to our main event, and which was we are going to open up this roll here that I kind of set to the side. So this roll here had the piece metal ENDER, and so I pulled that out of a box of nickels that my dad had gotten from the bank, and I wanted to at least know for sure that there would be one roll that would have a commemorative coin like that in it. So we're going to open that one now, and then after that we'll have some announcements for our Metal Sharks channel. So let's give it a whirl, see what this bad boy has in it. So John Long Silver says exclude him from the giveaway later. Yeah, we appreciate that since he's my dad. So it probably wouldn't be fair if he won it. So anyhow, here we go. Get this roll going. Get these other nickels out of the way because we're running out of room here. Should probably have a dump box or something right here. So let's see how this roll does. Now that's interesting. I just opened this roll and look right there. That's actually a dime. Honest to goodness. So one of the people in the chat, I think it was one of you guys, was saying that I was down 4 cents. Well, it looks like we're good now because we got 1 dime instead of a nickel. Isn't that interesting? I've never had that happen while coin roll searching. And that is a, trying to see the year on that dime. It looks like it's a, I want to say, it's either 2004 or 9, I'm not sure. Maybe if you can read that, drop it in the chat. So anyways, we'll set that aside for now because that's just interesting. So let's see what else we might find in here. Hey, look, there's a piece metal coin from 2004. Glad to have that one. Looks like it was in pretty good shape. Yeah, John Chum Adventures, we made 5 cents on that dime, so that's nice. Makes up for that penny that was in an earlier roll. Union Shield penny. So, My Chan says aluminum used to be way more valuable than gold. Huh, that's interesting. And then My Chan said, I've never found a steel penny in rolls, but it's pretty rare to find. Yeah, I don't think I've found any in bank rolls, but you can find them if you go to a flea market and you get a roll of wheat pennies. And that's something I like to do, is go to flea markets, and sometimes you can find different vendors there and they'll have old wheat pennies for sale. And sometimes, probably a lot of the times, those have already been searched through and they're just pretty common wheat pennies. But sometimes when you go to a flea market, you can find some unsearched rolls. And a good price for a roll of wheat pennies would be about $2 or less for a roll. So at times I've gotten rolls that way, and they've had steel, 43 steel wheat pennies in them. Hey, there we go. It's another Buffalo design, 2005 Buffalo design nickel. And it doesn't look like it has the spear error, but we're still glad to have it. It's in pretty good shape. So we're going to put that one up there. Okay. Yeah. So, Detecting Smith says, that's right, at John Chum Adventures, because we made 5 cents. Okay, so anyhow, so you guys that have channels, I was kind of wondering what you think about music on your channels. Like at Metal Sharks, we have 2 main sources of music that we use. And of course, all of us YouTube channels have to be really careful with music because you don't want to get a copyright strike, so to speak, by YouTube. So Metal Sharks doesn't use any copyrighted music. We don't knowingly ever use it. But what we do is I go to the free YouTube library, music library, and I just do a Google search and search for that. And when I get to it, there's a couple of musicians there that have their work there that seem pretty, that I like pretty well. I like their style. It's pretty easygoing, soft rock type music. So I often use that, and it says right there when you search the music, it says this is free to use for any purposes on YouTube or something like that. Hey, there's another piece metal design, so we'll put that aside. That one I think is in a little rougher shape. You can see a big smudge on the front, but I think I'll still keep that one. But we've used that free music from YouTube, from their library, and we usually, it says, it'll tell you in that library if you have to credit the music or not, but a lot of times you don't have to credit it. But I usually like to at least put the name of the song and the artist, just because I think people might find that interesting. But then another thing that we do is in Florida we have a state archives, and the State Archives of Florida Memory Project has music that's available, and it says if you can use it, you can download it from the Florida Memory Project, like old bluegrass CDs or recordings. But then you give them credit and you post a link to it, so they have a very specific citation format that they like you to use. But if you have any ideas on music, maybe drop that in the chat. It looks like Detecting Smith says he gets it for free from YouTube, so yeah, you're probably doing what I'm doing too. So that's a good option. And I like how you can search different terms. Like we had one video about a treasure capsule that had been lost for 20 years that we found at the beach. So I did a search on the free YouTube music library to see a song, if there was a song that had the element of time in it, like a time capsule. So I found a song that kind of had some kind of a mysterious theme to it, I thought. Kind of sounded a little bit like gypsy music, to be honest. So I used that, and it seemed to work out pretty well. But you can search by different types of music that you're hoping for, or different effects you're trying to get in your video, or you can get familiar with different musicians who post songs for free on YouTube. So we're getting near the end of this roll, and hey, look at, there's another buffalo design. So we're glad to have that. Looks okay. So we'll set that one aside. Now this nickel, let's see what that one is. Okay, so that was a 64, and it's pretty dirty. I was hoping maybe that was a war nickel, but it wasn't. So one thing I was wondering, I know we're working on nickels here, but sometimes in my family, my dad and others save shiny modern zinc pennies, because the thinking is that it doesn't take long for different coins in circulation to get pretty grungy. So if you set aside some that are pretty uncirculated and hold on to them for a while, maybe someday you can send them in and get them slabbed and graded, or they might even just be worth something if you mount them on cards and sell them on eBay. So let us know if you have any thoughts on that. So this is another piece metal nickel. So we're finding a lot of these commemorative nickels still in circulation. So that's been encouraging. So let's see, we're down to the last few nickels of this roll. And so John Chum says, Champ Hero says, I hope you find a real buffalo nickel. Yeah, that would be cool. And I should note that the nickels I'm talking about, the type that I've been finding tonight, are from the year 2005. So they're from the Westward Ho series. They're not the older buffalo nickels that were in circulation for many years. The original buffalo nickels were from 1913 to 1938. I have kind of a cheat sheet that I'll try to show you at the end. Help me remember these things. 2016 nickel, no help. Another one, no help. Yeah, another more modern one. So this is our last one from that roll. 1995. So we've gone through several rolls here, and let's see, I think we'll do a few announcements here, and then maybe do, how are we doing on time here? Let's see. Yeah, we're pretty much getting close to overtime, so we need to wrap it up pretty soon. And really appreciate everybody sticking with us there through all this. It looks like Drummond Detect has joined us. Drummond Detect is in the house. Welcome, welcome. We're glad you've joined us. And so anyhow, what we're going to do now is a few quick announcements, and then a little bit of a wrap up, and then lastly we'll do a random giveaway. Hey, Tag Team Recoveries is in the house. Hello, hello, Tag Team Recoveries. Welcome, welcome. I'm glad you joined us. You guys are sneaking in just at the end, but that's good. Everybody's welcome here. So we're glad everybody's here. That's especially all of you guys that are here the whole time, but everybody that could join us, we're grateful for, and all of our subscribers. So here are just a few announcements. Now, hopefully soon, let's see, we'll have a collaboration video. So we're excited about that, going to Pensacola Beach. And I wanted to mention that. That should come out in a few weeks. And hopefully that'll work out where we'll have either one or two other channels with us detecting there. So that's exciting. The first time that Metal SHARXS has ever been doing a collaboration video. So we're really looking forward to that. There were two other times where we tried to get a collaboration set up with other channels, and it didn't quite work out. But now it looks like we have a good possibility for the weekend of the 18th in Pensacola Beach. So we're excited about that and still working out some details, but stay tuned. And then the next thing I want to mention was, and thanks everybody for hitting the like button, anybody that's able to do that. I really appreciate that. It really means a lot to us. And so my dad, John Long Silver, who's featured on our channel quite often, and he's been detecting a little bit longer than me. I've been detecting about 3 years, and I think he's been 4 or more years. But at any rate, he's been a Garrett AT Max user for a number of years, but he recently wanted to try out the MindLab Equinox 800. So we've been trying that out, and we're going to do an unboxing and then try it out some. We don't know much about it, so I'm going to try to help him with it, but we'll probably have a few videos on that pretty soon. But from what I've heard, and I don't know if any of you other guys want to drop anything in the chat about if there's any Equinox 800 users in the house, but basically it seems to be a good all-around machine for different purposes, but sometimes because of the multiple frequencies, you can kind of use it as a cleanup machine, or you can hit ground that you've really pounded already, and you thought you might have gotten most of the finds there, and then you can still find good things. So if you have any thoughts on that, let us know about the Equinox 800. But we're excited to test that out, even though my dad and I usually use our Garrett AT Pros or AT Maxes pretty well and like those a lot. So I've heard that there's a metal detecting event in Florida called Florida Hunt 6, and that will be in February by the Gainesville Metal Detecting Club. But so far I haven't been able to find an exact date for it or detailed information. But I did hear on a live stream yesterday that Matt of Gone Digging is going to be going to that Florida 6 event. And he's got an awesome channel based out of Virginia, and he finds a lot of Civil War relics. So this is a good shout out for Matt of Gone Digging. But also, hopefully, that event we can find out more information. But if any of you guys in the South want to go to that, maybe drop something in the chat or get in touch through our email. And I'm going to send my email. I'm going to give my email address in case anybody wants to get in touch about any events, metal detecting seated hunts or events in the South that maybe we could collaborate on. So here's my email address in the chat. jamieth@yahoo.com. So anyhow, another brief announcement is we have a 500 sub giveaway coming soon, and we hope to give away 5 coins or more, most of those being silver. So probably a war nickel, maybe a Roosevelt silver dime, and some other silver items. So that should be coming soon. And hey, Tin Cup 10 Metal detecting is in the house. Welcome, welcome, Tin Cup. We're glad you're with us. And I think I've acknowledged everybody here, but let me know if I missed anybody, please. So, yeah, Tin Cup, we found some good things. We didn't find any war nickels, unfortunately, unless maybe I missed some. Like we had a whole bunch over here that I'm going to go back through. But the main things that we found were, we found some 2004 to 2005 Westward Ho series nickels. Like, this is one example. But there's some neat commemorative coins there. And then we found some older nickels from the 40s and 50s that were in, and we found a 1964 coin that was really in good shape. So, John Chum says there's 9 of us in the stream, so that's really encouraging. That's our new record for a Metal SHARXS live stream. So we're really grateful. And then a couple last things is, I think I already told you, but we have some Metal SHARXS stickers coming out soon. So if you'd like one of those or want to do a sticker exchange, maybe shoot me an email with my email in the chat. Just let me know. And I should be able to do that within the next few weeks. And then Metal SHARXS is working on a few older permissions. We have a 1949 property, and it's pretty close to where I live. And all I've found there so far is clad, but I've only had a few hours there at the 1949 property. But I did find these items. There's actually 2 of them, metal detecting in the last few weeks. And so I don't know what these are. I mean, they look kind of like bells. They're pretty small. And they look like maybe there could have been the clanger part that hangs down from the bell, but I'm not sure if that's what it was or if it was some kind of decorative post maybe for gardening or landscaping. So if you have any ideas on that, I'm trying to identify these items. No clue what those are. But drop something in the chat or email me if you have any thoughts on that from the 49 property. And hopefully I can go back there pretty soon, and maybe that I've gotten all the clad out of the way and a few bottle caps and pop tops. Maybe I'll start finding some older coins there soon. And then we're really excited to have a larger 1948 house that we have a permission for, but we've been kind of holding off because the weather has been so dang hot in North Florida. So we really want to try that 48 property in the next few weeks and get you more information on that, what we find there. But we're really excited. But if only it would get a little bit of rain here and just cool off even 10 degrees, you know, because it's like right now you have to either get up at the crack of dawn or like go out at like 6:30 p.m. and then the mosquitoes come out at 7:15. So it's really hard to detect in right now in Florida. So anyhow, that's some of our main announcements that we wanted to give out to everybody. So now let's do our random giveaway. So I think we have 9 in the chat. So I think what we're going to do is I'm going to pick a number, and when I say go to everybody, then you can enter a number in the chat. And let's see here. So what the winner will get through the mail, and the winner will need to email me with their mailing address. So let's see. Right here is a 43S war nickel, silver war nickel. So we'll send that. And so anyhow, I'm going to think of a number between the number 1 and the number 20. And so, hey, Dirt Diggers UK is in the house. So Dirt Diggers, we're doing a random drawing here, and you're just under the wire here. So in a second, I'm going to give everybody when I type it in the chat, you can enter the numbers. And so it's a number between 1 and 20 if you want to be part of a random war nickel giveaway. Okay, numbers between 1 and 20 starting now. Please enter those in the chat, and then I'll show you what I wrote down. Okay, 7, that's not it. Keep going. 6, 1, 6, 2, 1, 18, John Chum has a 10. Drum and Detect has 16. Dirt Diggers has 15. 19. Hey, there it is. It's 14. So there you go. 14 is the correct number. So everybody can stop entering numbers now. I saw it in the chat. So John Chum Adventures, congratulations. You've won our giveaway. So I really appreciate everybody's participation. We really are grateful. This is our biggest participation rate so far with 10 different folks. So thank you, thank you. And this is my email address for John Chum Adventures to get your war nickel that you won. So at any rate, that's pretty much it. I just want to thank all the channels and all the YouTube viewers that participated in this live stream. We couldn't really do it without you guys, so that's much appreciated. And that's pretty much all that I have, but I appreciate all you guys being on here. But you guys know how to reach me now if you want to get in contact with our channel or leave videos or subscribe. So yeah, I have I have your address, that's true, so I'll send that to you. So thanks, I still have that in my email system since you won a previous giveaway. So thank you everybody. Upwards and onwards, that's fantastic is what Dirt Diggers UK says. Yes, and I hope you all have a good rest of the day and a good rest of the week, and hope you can get out doing what you guys like for your channels or your hobbies, whether it's metal detecting, bottle dump digging, magnet fishing, or you name it, coin roll hunting, give it a whirl. And one thing about all this, though, is you got to be a little bit flexible. Like on my last live stream, I mentioned that I was going to go magnet fishing, but I actually lost my magnet. So unfortunately, I don't have a video about that, but I'm hoping maybe I can recover the magnet or get a different one. So anyhow, Detecting Smith says good night all, and I'm going to go ahead and sign off now too, but I really appreciate everybody joining us. Thank you so much.